freedom is a privilege nowadays that not many people have due to the COVID crisis currently at stake. However, despite it being the first time going through such a global outbreak, Concord had managed to stand through it all, maintaining a COVID-free community. Being an international college, we are very privileged to be able to continue to maintain our quality face-to-face lessons with our professional teachers, to be able to go to the town trips that we all desire so heavily, and to be able to enjoy precious times with our friends, while other schools had to fully shut down due to COVID cases spreading. Here are some reminders of some of the privileges that we have due to being a COVID-free community.
The thing I enjoy most being out of quarantine is just generally interacting with the student community in Concord, and especially my friends. Before quarantine and COVID hit, we used to play loads of sports, especially. Some of these sports included basketball and football, and it was really fun because we got out of the house and we managed to exercise with each other and just have fun through physical activities. And basketball and football are nice because they're team sports and it gets to build chemistry between me and my friends. Other things include cooking together and just eating together, going to the student kitchen. We used to cook pizza and steak and we would eat together, and during nights when there was no prep or like during weekends, so it was really fun. But yeah, this is the things I miss the most, and I'm very, very glad that I'm out of quarantine and my friends are out of quarantine and we can do all this together. I think COVID impacted me the most through my academics. For me, studying online is not the best way to absorb information and learn, and that worsened my grades, I would say. I didn't do well in a lot of exams and Saturday tests, and it really had my morale down because I couldn't see my teachers, I couldn't see my friends, everything was online through a screen. I didn't know how well I was doing and what help I could get. But now, it also impacted me because I couldn't see my friends or family, which I missed a lot because I'm a very social person and I like having people beside me. So it impacted me a lot in that area too.
The way that I cope with the COVID crisis is by just letting myself go and by just playing football with my friends. But just playing football and doing any sports with my friends, I can just forget about the COVID crisis and forget about school, and all I care about is just getting the ball in the goal and away from my teammates. The way that I also managed to handle quarantine during when I came here in school is just by watching movies, talking to my friends via the phone, and just by taking very long naps. I think Concord has done a very good job of managing COVID-19 in our school and on campus. The way that they have enforced quarantine rules and making sure all students remain in their rooms whilst they are serving this quarantine sentence is a very good example of how strict Concord is when in relation to maintaining the coronavirus at bay. I believe the lateral flow testing that they've been conducting as well has also been very efficient, as the results come back within days, and this allows the quarantine students and the students that are out of quarantine to know that they're safe from COVID-19 and that they're safe to interact with their peers.
I love being able to play sports and go to the sports hall because for me personally, I get to use the gym and that helps me cope with the academic pressure, as every time I can set a personal goal for myself, and the sense of achievement every time I go and lift weights or anything like exercise, it makes me feel better mentally and physically. So yeah, I love that about being COVID-free.
A large reason as to why Concord has been able to stay COVID-free is due to the lateral flow test that they do every week. I will now pass it to Mr. Davies, who will explain more on the matter.
The lateral flow test is a COVID test that you can administer yourself. It's really quick and easy, and it's something that the National Health Service and the UK government are rolling out to all schools. It's a great idea for a couple of reasons. Firstly, it gives you peace of mind. If you've been out in Shrewsbury on a Wednesday or a Saturday afternoon, you know that in a couple of days you can take this test and know that you haven't picked anything up during your trip. It's also a good idea because for every person who reports their result to the National Health Service, the statistics that the government use for their roadmap out of COVID, meaning who can see who and where and what meetings you can have and what services you can use. Every time those statistics are made more accurate, their predictions for how soon we can get back to normal become more accurate as well. So if you sign up to the lateral flow test, you'll be invited to a 1 hour slot on a Tuesday or a Thursday afternoon. You'll come around to the back of the sports hall where the squash courts are, and one of the health and safety team will help you to check in. And once you've done that, you'll be taken through to the test centre. The test centre is just one of the squash courts with some of the staff in there. You'll notice that there's Mrs. Carter from Health and Safety, or me, or Mrs. Aston, the bursar's assistant, and we'll be helping you and guiding you through this self-administered test. The first thing you'll do is you'll sit down at a table and blow your nose. That will make sure that the sample that you give is as accurate as possible. Once you've done that, you can sanitize your hands, and then you'll be given a swab in a plastic packet. On one end of the swab there is a blue arrow, and you can split apart the plastic from the paper packaging at that point and take the swab out. You'll then, like with the PCR tests that are administered by the medical staff, swab the back of your throat and your nose. You'll swab the back of your throat 3 times on either side, just on the arches. And if you're not sure where you're aiming for, there's a poster up in the test centre which explains everything for you as well. Once you've swabbed 3 times at the back of your throat, here and here, then you will just use the swab to insert into one nostril, not 2, and you'll just push it in a little way until you feel some resistance, and twist the swab 5 times. Once you've done that, you'll notice that there is a plastic test tube on the table in front of you, and you'll just put the swab tip end down into that test tube. And that's it. You can then sanitize your hands and go on your way. The whole process takes probably 2 minutes at most. It's not the most comfortable thing in the world, but once you've done it once, it sort of becomes routine, and it really does help you feel better and more secure about Concord and your socializing with your friends.
To bring the video to a close, here's a message for everyone. Let's get tested.
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 Let's get tested. Yay!
Why?
To say it.
Let's get tested.
Like, hold it closer.
Let's get tested.